Are you crazy? Because I know I am, and this is Cardfight Crazy. On to my second deck profile. This time, my Overlords. Draconic Overlord, the Legend, was the card that finally got me to play the clan, and I've been sticking with them ever since. And we'll play them again in Standard. The main boy of the deck now is the Destiny, but we still got 4 copies of the Legend as well. First off, let's talk about the Legend, actually. GB2, Counterblast 1, choose a grade 3 or greater Flame Dragon from your hand and discard it until end of turn. This unit gains plus 15,000 power, grade +1, drive +1, and a once per turn auto ability. Choose 3 cards from your hand and discard them. At the end of the battle of this unit attack to rear guard, you may pay the cost if you do. Stand this unit. Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost if you do. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Search for up to 1 Flame Dragon from among them. Reveal it to your opponent and put it in your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Used to care about Flame Dragons with the deck. Now, with the Destiny, I just don't anymore. Also, because this isn't my competitive deck anymore. It won't be what I'm taking to Team League or anything like that. It's just settled into the way it is now. And that's what we're doing a deck profile on. Draconic Overlord, the Destiny, the main ride target, the main Overlord now. Soul Blast 1, when this unit is placed on Vanguard, from hand or at the beginning of your ride phase, you may pay the cost you do, choose any circle other than Vanguard circle, and put all the cards on that circle into the drop zone. Counterblast 1, when your G unit strides, you may pay the cost you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Overlord and its card name from among them, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So now we don't care about getting Flame Dragons, we just want to watch the world burn, which is what Overlords always like to do. Main starter, Conroe. This is a grade 0 in the deck, but it's not the starter. First off, Conroe, in case you don't know, it's got Forerunner and Counterblast 1, retire this unit, search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 or less Kagero, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand. You can search a heal trigger, a crit, a stand, a draw, and literally any grade 1 or less, as it says. You can get your PGs, you can get anything you need. Great suitor. And Lizard Hero Undu, the Legend deck starter. GB1, Counterblast 1, put this unit in your soul, search your deck for up to 1 card with Overlord and its card name, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand. I've been running these 2 since before Conroe got unbanned. Now that he's unbanned, he's the starter. And Undu is in the deck because you can miss with the Destiny, but you cannot miss with Undu. As so long as there is 1 Overlord left in your deck, you can find it with Undu. 4 used to be the Flame Dragons, now it's Dragon Dancer Tara, which is a human. But great artwork, and it's the counter charge or soul charge. Bind her and another card with heal face up when it's used for the cost of G Guardian. You can do so to counter charge or soul charge. 1. 4 draw triggers. Gatling Claw to retire pesky starters, or if you randomly go up against Sanctuary Guard to retire something on their board, so long as it's a grade 0. Great card. Fills the soul, which you need for Destiny. And just in case you have to ride the Legend, is a Flame Dragon. 5 crits, all of which are Flame Dragons, and unfortunately are not all different artworks. Wish they were. This one does have a skill that when it's on the board, you can retire this unit. When your opponent's unit in the same column is retired, you may pay the cost. If you do, retire all rear guards of your opponent in that same column. GB1. That's Fire Chase Dragon. And unfortunately, only 3. Do wish it was pure rainbows, but it's not. 3 Inspire Yell Dragon. I cannot just get to place them right here. I'm always placing them too low. Blaze, Vanguard or Rearguard Blaze. At the beginning of your attack step, each of your attacks, if you have more rearguards than your opponent, your Vanguard becomes blazing, and GB1, put this unit on the bottom of your deck when your Vanguard becomes blazing. So off of that first attack that you have more rearguards than your opponent, you may pay the cost you do, draw a card, choose one of your units that gets plus 5k until end of turn, shuffle your deck. It's great to run stands in here again. Inspire Yell is a fantastic card and worthwhile because we don't care about Flame Dragons, and I don't own Protect Orbs. Once again, too low. I am running Flame of Tranquility Airmo. With the Legend, we used to have a serious deck out problem because the Legend's whole thing is drive check 3 times twice. It's kind of the whole point. But with the Destiny, yeah, it can still happen, but I just don't care anymore. Flame of Tranquility Airmo, great card. It's the Legend deck, perfect card. Choose a card from your hand and discard it. When this unit is placed on Guardian Circle from hand, you may pay the cost to do. Choose up to one of your Vanguards that is being attacked, and until end of that battle it can't be. Then, if there is a card named Flame of Tranquility Ammo in your drop zone, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, and discard it. That's the whole point, is drawing and dropping if you got another. Countercharging isn't a problem with Conroe and such, but drawing is nice because you can draw whatever's on top of your deck. You have to, and then you do have to discard one. If you don't like what you draw, then you can just discard that. 3 things to help us stride. First, Doombringer High Flame. When it's placed on rearguard, choose up to 2 cards with Overlord and its card name from your drop zone. Shuffle them back into your deck. If you returned 1 or more cards, then you have to shuffle. If you return 2 cards, draw cards. So if you don't return any cards, you don't shuffle. But its other skill is the important part. Retire this unit at the beginning of your ride phase. You can pay the cost you do until end of turn. You may stride without paying the cost next time you stride into a G unit with Overlord in its card name. There are, unfortunately, only 5 targets, though. If it was the right combo, it would still be 5 targets. But 2 Lava Flow Dragon. Choose a grade 3 from your hand and reveal it. When this unit is placed on rearguard, you can search for a card not in the deck, Dragonic Blade Master. But when your paying cost for stride is +2 grade. So I like having them in there because preserving an Overlord in hand for Purge is great, and just more things to help us stride is always nice. 3 copies of Lizard Soldier Belloc. I remember when I watched the episode of Outplayed with Kagero on it, and I saw Belloc, and I was floored by this card, and immediately after I saw it on that episode, I purchased it. Right then and there, because Belloc is awesome. GB1, when this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, choose one of your Vanguards until end of that battle it gets. If the attack did not hit, choose a unit at rest on your opponent's field and retire it. Choose a rearguard at rest. And the final grade 1 Lizard General Conroe, riding Conroe, then Conroeing into Conroe, then using Conroe to drop an Overlord, to fetch an Overlord is just a wonderful move. Choose a grade 3 card from your hand and reveal it. When this unit is placed on rearguard from hand, you may pay the cost if you do. You search for deck for up to 1 grade 3 with Overlord in its card name, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck, and discard. So remember that if you do mess up and you call Conroe and reveal with having 0 valid targets left in your deck, you still have to discard. And that sucks. When I'm not paying attention, it's happened to me once or twice in some friendly games. Act. Retire this rearguard. Choose up to 1 of your Vanguards with Overlord in its card name. Until end of turn it gets 1 attacks. Countercharge 2. Can be grade 3. Can be grade 4. It doesn't matter. So long as it has Overlord in its card name, you can use his skill and get your countercharge on. 1 copy of Early Retire without any other restrictions. Dragonic Burnout. So if you use a Conroe early, then your Dragonic Burnout is live when it's placed on rearguard. You take an Overlord and put it on the bottom of your deck from your drop zone. If you do that, then you can Soul Blast 1 to retire a unit. Yeah, just in case anybody doesn't know. That specific thing is that you do Soul Blast after you place an Overlord from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck, and you retire any of their rearguards with anything. This does not retire any rearguards. Soul Blast 1 and choose an Overlord in its card name from your hand and reveal it. When it's placed on rearguard, if you pay that cost, you can retire a rearguard in the same column. So Dragonic Burnout is in there as the 1 tech just to make it so there's 5 cards that can kill a starter. Starters are very good, and killing them is also very good. If you have a grade 4 Vanguard with Overlord in its original card name, this unit gets +2k for each card in your opponent's damage zone. If you do want to call Evolute behind your Vanguard to kill a starter, then, you can. I just like having the 1 tech of Burnout in order to do that. Glow Heater Dragon, great card, 10k base. When it's placed on Vanguard or rearguard, choose up to 1 card with Overlord in its card name, and or on your Vanguard circle, and if you do, it keeps its power. If you don't, then you get -5k. So if you have an Overlord Vanguard, it's a 10k, and it gets -5k until the end of the turn. So it's honestly not the worst thing in the world if you have to ride Glow Heater and then lose the 5k, just, maybe you can't use Conroe that turn, or maybe you got to call the other Conroe so you can have a booster, because at the end of your turn, it'll go right back up. So it's not the worst. And if you have a grade 4 Vanguard with Overlord in its original card name, this unit gets +2k for each card in your opponent's damage zone. There you go. but 4 copies of Emperor Dragon Knight Nehalem. Big boy attacker. If you have a grade 4 Overlord and GB1, no, if you have GB1 and a Vanguard with Overlord, it gains 2k. And if you have a grade 4 or greater Vanguard, this unit gets plus 5k until end of turn for each attack. So when your Vanguard attacks, god damn it, I just messed up with that. But when your Vanguard attacks, it gains 5k, so it becomes an 11. It's an 11. When your Vanguard attacks, 16. If your Vanguard attacks again, 21. There you go. But Nehalem's also nice because it's an 11k attacker, so you can swing with it for 11. Your opponent thinks that, oh, you know, that's it. You're just going to get that. Then you attack with your Vanguard, it becomes a 16, and you check a stand trigger. Bam, 21. On to the G-Zone first. 1 copy of Absalom. Great G-Guard, and if you've been retiring well, or they just don't call a field, then you can often no-pass Vanguard attacks really easily. Divine Dragon Knight Absalom, counterblast 1 when this unit is placed on Guardian Circle during the battle that your Vanguard was attacked by your opponent's Vanguard. You may pay the cost if you do. This unit gains plus 10k for each open rearguard circle of your opponent's. At a max of 50,000 additional shield, 15k base, like everybody, generally you'll shoot for 20 or 30, just, you know, guard into it at the right moment, and you can no-pass a very dangerous attack by your opponent. I run 3 copies of Denial Griffin, counterblast 1 when the unit is placed on Guardian Circle. You may pay the cost if you do. Choose one of your opponent's attacking rearguards and retire it. That's what the sleeve felt thicker. 3 copies of Denial Griffin. I don't always jump to use it. Oftentimes I'll just guard in. I'll just go into Denial, not use the skill, and then wipe it out with the Destiny because I want to maximize that search. Yeah, that's helpful. Defeat Flare Dragon. The surprise boss of the G Guardians. It's, you know, it's a great card. Counterblast 1 and choose 2 grade 3 or greater Flame Dragons, which your Overlords are, from your drop zone. Place them on the bottom of your deck. When this unit is placed on Guardian Circle during the battle that your Vanguard with Overlord, specifically in its card name, is attacked by your opponent's Vanguard, there's that restriction again, you may pay the cost. If you do, retire all of your opponent's rearguards in the back row. Note that it does not target. So that's the one thing it doesn't choose. So if you're playing against Savos or Blue Waves who have resist units in the back row, it doesn't matter. They're still wiped out because that boy doesn't target. Often first stride option, and why Overlords are a little slow. Extend Glaive Dragon, or Extend Grave Dragon, and Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon, of course, other names. It's got Blaze. And Counterblast 1, choose a face-down card from your G-Zone, turn it face-up. Until end of turn it gets, when this blazing unit attacks, you draw a card, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, and retire it. Fortunately, because he's often, you know, the first stride guy, your opponent doesn't have a field. 4 copies of the Ace. Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon, Dragonic Overlord, the Ace. I do wish it was only 3, but 4 because of other things. Counterblast 2 and choose a face-down card from your G-Zone named Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon Dragonic Overlord the Ace, G Persona Blast, and turn it face up. Until end of turn, this unit gets -1 drive, and once per turn, choose a card from your hand and discard it. Choose a card with Overlord and its card name from your hand and discard it. At the end of the battle, this unit attacks a Vanguard and pay the cost to reduce. Stand this unit, and it gets plus 5k until end of turn. Wait a minute. So with the new rules, and the changes to once per turn, you can activate him again. You know, you do have to have GB3 once you flip, but you can activate him again, so you could attack 3 times, but you'd only get a single drive, because that drive -1 isn't connected to the once per turn, it's beforehand. So you'd Counterblast 2 and flip up and get drive -1. And then you Counterblast 2 and flip up and get drive -1, but you would be able to attack 3 times. You'd have to discard 2 cards to attack 3 times under the new rule set. Under the current rule set, it doesn't matter. Often, if you're at 4 damage, you're going to him, Counterblast 2 and flip up. Nothing happens because you'll only have 1 face-up card in your G-Zone, and then you Counterblast 2 and flip up again. Then you'll have 2 face-up cards in your G-Zone, so you lose 1 drive. So you go down to Twin Drive, but you gain the restand. 2 copies of Can Win You Games still. Transcendence, Divine Dragon, Novel, Vogel Express. Counterblast 1, NG Persona Blast at GB2, and your opponent cannot call grade 1 cards from hand to Guardian Circle, and if they're at 5 damage for the turn, their trigger effects don't activate. You know, nullifies heals. 3 copies of Flare... God, I hit the camera. 3 copies of Flare Arm Ziegenberg has Blaze, and Soul Blast 1, NG Persona Blast. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. If you got the G guard first, then often going into Ziegenberg is wonderful and fantastic. Then, once per turn, GB3, Counterblast 1 and choose the same number of cards from your hand as the number of your opponent's rear guards. Discard them. At the end of the battle, this unit is sacked. If this unit is blazing, you may stand, and he gets -2 drive. So often, and what you're always shooting for is to Counterblast 1 and discard nothing to restand. That is fantastic. And unfortunately, because of this price, only 1 copy of Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon Draconic Overlord The Purge. Once per turn, choose a face-down card from your G-Zone, any, turn it face up, choose a card with Overlord and its card name from your hand, put it into the soul, choose your opponent's Vanguards, and they place the top card of their deck face up in their damage zone. You deal them a damage, but you nullify the trigger effects. And GB3, this unit has the same number of drive as the number of cards in your opponent's damage zone, so it could have quintet drive. That's the goal and the aim. It's a recovery tool. Unfortunately, because of how you don't at least get quad drive automatically, going into him first, dealing a damage is nice, but it's oftentimes not worth it, and especially because I only have 1, I don't do it. Overlords have been power crept out, but that's not really sad. That's just the way it is. But this has been Joey and Cardfight Crazy. I hope you're crazy too.